Today, we're looking at tire traction. We'll see how tire traction works, what impacts traction, and the types of tire traction. We'll also bust some common myths. So hop in and let's get going. Tires are an important part of your car, but have you ever asked yourself what makes a good tire? To answer this, we need to understand how tires work. More precisely, we need to look at tire traction. Tire traction is the resistance between the tire and the ground in response to the torque exerted by the wheel axle by the engine. In other words, tires transfer energy of the engine to the road so that your car can move forwards. Traction is the tire's ability to grip the surface of the road. No matter how much horsepower your engine outputs, it would be difficult to start, steer, or stop if the wheels can't properly grip the road surface. So what impacts tire traction? For starters, the material of the road surface impacts traction. Did you know that well-maintained roads are surfaced with materials designed to improve traction? Contrast that to rural roads or poorly maintained roads, which are often uneven, broken, or have loose material like gravel or soft soil, and therefore offer less traction. The condition of the road is another factor. When the road is smooth, wet, or slick due to inclement weather, you can lose some traction. The worst substances include rain, snow, ice, mud, wet leaves, and even chemical residue on the road from other cars. Studies have shown that stopping a car on wet asphalt can take up to 25% longer than if you were stopping on dry asphalt. So the condition of the road impacts tire traction, which in turn affects braking distance. Vehicle balance also impacts traction. So what's vehicle balance? Basically, it's your car's total weight across its four wheels. The idea is when your car has an even spread of weight on all tires, which gives you overall better control of the car. But various things can cause your car to be imbalanced. For example, accelerating, decelerating, cornering, and carrying heavy loads in the truck can impact your car's balance. You can even have more weight pushed to the front, rear, or side tires. When that happens, the tires with less weight have less traction. Another factor that influences tire traction is the condition of the tires themselves. Tires that are badly worn or under or overinflated will reduce traction. Worn tires, for example, are likely to have lower tread, making your car more likely to slip on a wet road. Overinflated tires are problematic because the excess air bloats the tire, causing the tread to diverge outward, which causes less traction. Underinflated tires should technically have more traction, but they can also be dangerous since they offer less stability during turn. Different cars have different traction needs. I'm sure you can appreciate, for example, that the traction required for a family sedan differs greatly from the traction required for a Formula One race car. Your family sedan and the average general production car typically have grooves or treads on their tires. A good tread pattern channels water off the tires to the sides away from the tire center. In snow or mud, deep treaded tires act kind of like a gear. They lock into loose material rather than sliding over it as a typical tire normally would. In race cars, the tires often lack tread pattern. They're rather smooth surfaced and they're called slicks. They're made from a special rubber compound that's soft and sticky on the racetrack and provide incredible traction to help them accelerate, speed, and corner without slipping. But they also wear out much faster than your consumer-grade tires. How'd you like to have to buy tires every 150 miles? Let's talk about tire traction ratings. How do you know how much traction a certain tire provides? Fortunately, we have the UTQG. That stands for Uniform Tire Quality Grading. It's a scale that indicates the tire's stopping ability on wet surfaces. The better the grade, the shorter the braking distance on wet pavement. You can think of the tire traction grades like a hierarchy of grades in school. A C rating is the lowest grade, B is better, and A is a high grade. Good thing they don't have an F grade. Even better than an A is AA or AA. So when shopping for your next set of tires, you should consider your driving needs. So what does Treadwear 500 mean on a tire? Tire traction is rated on a UTQG Treadwear grade scale. The scale measures the tire's traction durability against tested tires. The higher the number, the better the traction. For example, if the number is 300, then the traction of that tire is undoubtedly better than tires rated at 100. So if the Treadwear rating is 500, that's a very high rating. It's expected to last 5 times longer than the tire tested by UTQG. Ever see the mysterious tire rating? UTQG 300AAA? As you might have guessed, the number 300 means the tire should last 3 times longer than the tire tested by the UTQG. The AA means that the tire has an asphalt G-force above 0.54. In other words, it has a shorter braking distance on wet asphalt. And the last solo A at the end indicates the tire can perform reliably at speeds in excess of 115 miles per hour. So how do you check the tread on your tire? You can simply use a penny. If you find one somewhere in your house, place it between the ribs on the raised parts of the tire. In other words, let the penny sit in the groove. Then see how much of Abraham Lincoln's head you can see. Ideally, the tread rises above his head, but the more of Lincoln's head you see means the tread is worn, and it might be time to change your tires. In severe weather, tire traction is critical for safety. That's when tire traction enhancers can especially help. Here's 5 easy ways to improve tire traction for safe winter driving. If you have a front-engine rear-wheel drive car, consider adding weight to the rear of the car to gain traction on slippery or muddy roads. We used to throw sandbags in the old Mustangs. Drive on the tracks of other vehicles that have already passed before you. This will provide the best grip for your tire. Of course, remember to also adjust your driving speed when driving in snowing conditions. In other words, slow down. 3. If the road is still too slippery, then consider snow chains to increase the traction of your tires. Install these chains on the rear wheels if you have a rear-wheel drive vehicle, or on the front wheels if you have a front-wheel drive vehicle. For all-wheel drive, you'll need to fit the snow chains on all 4 tires. This way, you can maintain control on slippery surfaces with increased traction. If you don't like the sound of clinking chains, you can always choose a quieter option. The socks. These are similar to snow chains. However, they're made entirely of fabric, hence their name. The fabric fibers are positioned in such a way that snow and ice will stick to them while driving, making your tires grippy for low-speed, short-distance driving over snow or icy roads. Those can help to a certain degree. However, winter tires are the best bet. Just get winter tires already. They are designed for use not only in icy, snowy, or slushy conditions, but also cold and dry weather. Winter tires will help get you reliable traction for a confident ride. But now, let's bust some common myths about tire traction. Some people believe the tread pattern provides good traction. This one is true, but only in wet weather conditions. In fact, the tread pattern gives the vehicle good traction in wet weather because the tread absorbs the water and channels it through the grooves for better traction. However, in dry weather, the tread pattern decreases traction. Interestingly, tires without tread have the most traction in dry weather because most of the rubber is making contact with the road. Another myth is that wider tires provide better traction on snow. However, the reality is that narrow tires actually perform better on the snow. They're able to cut the snow like a knife, pushing through the snow with its narrow edges. This allows a narrow tire to cut through snow more easily than wide tires. Now, let me ask you, do you think all-season tires are better for wet roads than summer tires? Or is this a myth? In fact, it all depends on the weather conditions. Generally speaking, all-season tires are good to use year-round and are manufactured to perform in a variety of weather conditions. They normally have a deeper tread than summer tires, so they hold the road well in mild winter conditions. However, in warm weather, they tend to provide less traction than summer tires with normal tread on wet roads. As a result, your vehicle will have reduced handling, braking, and cornering capabilities. Therefore, all-season tires are a good choice if you live in an area with an average climate and very mild winters. In the warmer summer months, driving on a set of dedicated summer tires would be a better choice in providing enhanced all-around performance and driving enjoyment. Here is a myth related to commonly used terms about tire pressure. Is maximum pressure when the tire provides maximum traction? Many people, including some law enforcement officers, believe that the maximum pressure is when a tire is pressurized at 40 psi. But the reality is that the term maximum pressure only indicates the pressure at which the tire can withstand the maximum weight of the vehicle, nothing more. And finally, here's another myth that low-profile tires fitted on large-diameter wheels improve handling. The truth is that the short sidewalls of low-profile tires enhance the tire's response when the driver first turns the steering wheel. This gives the driver the false impression that the tire has tremendous grip. But in fact, it's the tread compound, the stickiness of the rubber, that determines how well the tires grip the road. In fact, the combination of a large-diameter wheel and a low-profile tire means that the suspension may not be able to keep the tire in contact with the pavement at high speeds or on uneven road surfaces. That's why you never see low-profile tires on a race car. But now you tell me, do you have any funny or horror stories about tire traction? Please comment below and share. If you like this episode, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for your support.